a first part of a year-long course introducing you to all the major ideas in physics, starting from Galileo and Newton, right up to the big revolutions of the last century, which was on relativity and quantum mechanics. The target audience for this course is really very broad. In fact, I've always been surprised at how broad the representation is. So I don't know what your major is. I don't know what you're going to do later. So I picked the topics that all of us in physics find fascinating. Some may or may not be useful, but you just don't know. Some of you are probably going to be doctors, and you don't know why I'm going to do special relativity or quantum mechanics. But you don't know when it'll come in handy. If you're a doctor and you got a patient who's running away from you at the speed of light, you'll know what to do. Or if you're a pediatrician with a really small patient who will not sit still, it's because the laws of quantum mechanics don't allow an object to have cannot have a definite position and momentum. So these are all things you just don't know when they will come in handy. And I teach them because these are the things that turned me on and got me going into physics. And whether or not you go into physics, you should certainly learn about the biggest and most interesting revolutions right up to present-day physics. All right, so that's what the subject matter is going to be. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the course is organized. First thing is, this year, it's going to be taped. You can see some people in the back with cameras. As part of an experimental pilot program funded by the Hewlett Foundation. And at some point, they will decide what they will do with these lectures. Most probably, they'll post them somewhere so people elsewhere can have the benefit of what you have, of sitting in a Yale classroom. So I've been told that from now on, we just ignore the camera and do business as usual. Nothing's going to be changed. I tried to negotiate a laugh track so that if the jokes don't work, we can superpose some laughter. I was told, no, I just got to deal with it as it happens. So it's going to be, it's like one of the reality shows where things are going to be as they are. And hopefully, after a while, we'll learn to act and behave normally and not worry about its presence. Then, coming to the rest of the details of the course. By the way, there are more details on the website that I posted that was given to me by the university if you want to know more about what all this is about. The course organization is fairly simple. We're going to meet Monday and Wednesday in this room, 11:30 to 12:45. I will give you some problems to do on Wednesday, and I'll post them on the website. So you guys should get used to going to the class's website. I'm really dependent on that now. I finally learned how to use it. I will use that to post information, maybe once in a while send email to the whole class. So if you want to get those emails, you got to sign up for the course because I push a button and it goes to anybody who's signed up there. The homework will be given on Wednesday and it's due before class the following Wednesday. And let me introduce you to our head TA, Mara Daniel, who's recently Mara Barabbas. Right. Will you come a little? Okay, so Mara is going to be the person who will see you after class. And she will take the problem sets that you have submitted before class, and she'll give you the graded ones from after class. Okay, that will be sorted out. It'll be up there. So you should drop the homework before you come into class, rather than furiously working on it during class. And the solutions will be posted the same afternoon. So there is not much point in giving a homework that's late. But once in a while, you will come up with a reason that I just cannot argue with. You got married, you're getting a transplant, whatever it is, that's fine. You got a transplant, I want to see the old body part. You got married, I want to see your spouse. If something happened to a grandparent, I'm counting, and up to 4, I don't get suspicious. Go 5, 6, 7, 8, I will have to look into the family tree. But look, any reasonable excuse will be entertained. And the relative importance given to these different things is 20% for your homework, 30% for a midterm, which will be sometime in October, and 50% for the final. That'll be the weighted average. But I have another plan called the amnesty plan, in which I also compare just your final grade, what you did in the final exam. And whichever is higher of the two is what I will take to determine your overall course grade. This is something I used to announce near the end, but then some people felt that it's not fair not to know this from the beginning. So I'm telling you from the beginning, but don't dream and think that somehow the final is going to be so much different from your regular day-to-day performance, but give you some reason to live after the midterm. So you feel there is hope, I can change everything overnight. It does happen. I put that in for a reason, because sometimes some of you have not taken a physics course and you don't know how to do well in physics, and slowly you catch on, and by the time it's final exam, you crack the code, you know how to do well. As far as I'm concerned, that's just fine. If at the end of the semester you take a 3-hour exam in a closed environment and you answer everything, I don't care what you did in your homework or your midterm. That's not relevant. So that's how the grading will be done. We have Mara's group of TAs. She's the head TA, and she's the one you should write to whenever you have a problem. Then we also have 2 faculty members. One is our postdoctoral fellow, Mark Caprio. Mark? Okay. So he will have a discussion section on Tuesdays between 1 and 2 in Sloan Lab. And Steve Forlanetto, I don't know if Steve is here or not. There's Steve, our new assistant professor. He will have a section on Tuesday night in Dunham Lab, room 220. Tuesday night is a night when you people realize homework is due on Wednesday. So we know that. So he will be there to comfort you and give you whatever help you need. All right. My own office hours, I'm not determined yet. I'll have to find out when it is good for you. I used to, I live and work out of Sloan Lab up on the hill, and it was easy to have office hours before or after class. But now you have to make a special trip. So just give me a little bit of time to find out, maybe by soliciting email responses from you, what would be a good time for my office hours. But for any procedural things like, this problem set was not graded properly and so on, there's no point emailing me, because I'm going to send it to Mara anyway. So directly deal with the powers that be. Okay. Finally, I want to give you some tips on how to do well in this course and what attitude you should have. First advice is you should come to the lectures. It's not self-serving. It's not so much for my benefit. I think there's something useful about hearing the subject presented once orally. Secondly, the book, you can see, one of you had a book here. It's about 1,100 pages. And when I learned physics, it was like 300 pages. Now, I look around this room. I don't see anybody whose head is 3 times bigger than mine. So I know that you cannot digest everything the books have. So I have to take out what I think is the really essential part and cover that in the lecture. So you come to class to find out what's in and what's not in. If you don't do that, there's a danger you will learn something you don't have to, and we don't want that. Okay, so that's why you come to class. Second thing, most important thing for doing well in physics is to do the homework. The 20% given to the homework is not a real measure of how important it is. Homework is when you really figure out how much you know and don't know. If you watch me do the thing on the blackboard, it looks very reasonable. It looks like you can do it. But the only way you're going to find out is when you actually deal with the problem. That's the only time you're going to find out. So I asked you to do the problems as and when they're posted. So if you're posted on Wednesday, it's to cover the material for that week. Then you should attempt it as quickly as possible, because I'm going to assume you've done the problems when you come for the next few lectures. And in doing the homework, it is perfectly okay to work in groups. You don't have to do it for yourself. That's not how physics is done. I'm now writing a paper with 2 other people that are my experimental colleagues who write papers with 400 other people, maybe even 1,000 other people. When they do the big collider experiments in Geneva and Fermilab, collaborations can run into hundreds. So it's perfectly okay to be a part of a collaboration. But you got to make sure that you're pulling your weight. You got to make sure that if you explain to others how to do this problem, then somebody else contributed something else, but you know what everybody contributed in the end. So the game is not just to somehow or other get the solution to the problem set, but to fully understand how it's done. And the TS will be there to help you. Every day there's going to be a TS.